Afghanistan Crisis. Every international organization in general and neighboring countries in particular are discussing about the Taliban gaining control over vast territory of Afghanistan. On September 11, 2001, attacks on World Trade Center prompted the US to commence its military intervention in Afghanistan in October 2001 when Taliban denied to hand over Osama bin Laden and also for providing safe haven to terrorists. In this endless war for 20 years, which is going to end formally on 31st August 2021, the US spent almost $1,000 billion and nearly 4,000 troops have lost their lives, which includes US, NATO, as well as some mercenaries. What about Afghans? Nearly 50,000 civilians and another 70,000 security forces and 60,000 Talibans have lost their lives, and lakhs of people were injured. The US went to Afghanistan to punish the Taliban, but now, after an endless war for 20 years, the US negotiated a peace deal with them for safe exit. The Taliban have gained maximum territory including strategic districts and dry ports along the border with Iran, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan and Pakistan as the US and NATO troops were swiftly pulling out from Afghanistan. Most of the countries bringing their diplomats and aid workers back home and asking their citizens to leave the country. Why there is a concern if the Taliban takes the control of Afghanistan? During their stint in power between 1996 to 2001, the Taliban enforced its extreme version of Islamic Sharia law, indulged in violence, separatism, provided safe haven for terrorists and innumerable human rights violations. Girls attending school beyond 6th grade were barred from classes. Women can't go to the bazaar without a male companion. Men should not shave their beards. Everybody should wear a turban. Men should only wear traditional clothing and would be beaten if they didn't attend prayers. Those found guilty of crimes such as adultery were stoned to death. Of course, Afghanistan is a conservative society in rural areas, but they had tried to impose all these in cities as well. Apart from this, Afghanistan witnessed a series of terror attacks for the past 2 decades. Recently, the Taliban ordered villagers to marry off their daughters and widows to the Taliban fighters. The Taliban had destroyed Bamiyan Buddha statues of Kanishka period. All these things in Afghanistan has triggered global concern. Because of global pressure, now the Taliban insists that they will protect human rights only according to Islamic values. Why India is concerned with the security situation in Afghanistan? India involved in rebuilding Afghanistan. It has constructed Parliament Building, Friendship Dam that is Salma Dam across Hari River in Herat province and signed an agreement to build Shatu Dam across Kabul River to provide drinking water facility to Kabul. And also involved in improving the connectivity which provided direct access to Chabahar port in Iran. Violence in Afghanistan by the Taliban resulted in India pulling its staff out of Kandahar consulate. Earlier, Herat and Jalalabad consulates were closed. Mazar-e-Sharif consulate and Kabul embassy are active now. Hundreds of Indian expatriate workers have started returning home when the US began closing military bases as a part of the Taliban peace deal. Actually, Indians provided logistical support to the US military. Regional players like Iran, China and Russia have engaged with the Taliban leadership and thereby accorded its political legitimacy. At the same time, India refused to engage formally with the Taliban. The Taliban assured China that it would not collaborate with the Uyghurs. These are oppressed Muslims who are contesting Chinese rule in Xinjiang province. The Taliban have made a public statement that they would not allow East Turkestan independence movement to use Afghanistan territory for launching hostile actions against China. Even Iran and Russia are engaged in seeking assurances from the Taliban. Most countries, including the US, rely on Pakistan in navigating the complex territory of a Taliban-dominated Afghanistan. At India's side, now everything is precarious at line of control as well as line of actual control. The Jammu and Kashmir and the Ladakh are an acutely sensitive space contested by Pakistan on one side and by China on the other. Pakistan always wants to destabilize the region. The Taliban may strengthen this program, and on another front, China may take advantage of the situation. There is a clear threat of escalating terrorism when the Taliban gain control over Kabul. So finally, when the US and the NATO troops leave, Turkey has decided to provide security for Kabul airport. Finally, on a positive note, in these 20 years, Afghanistan's literacy rate increased, life expectancy increased, urbanization increased, infrastructure increased, infant mortality rate decreased. Please do subscribe this channel. If you like this video, please share it. Thank you so much.